All right, so what's the title? What's the title of today's class? That's right, daggone it. Today's class is Wakanda to Mount Zion. Y'all get ready for this one. I know you ain't ready for it, but just get ready for it. All right, so radicalism. I want to talk about radicalism just for a moment. Is it change by revolution? When you look up the word radicalism. And not a revolution of guns, knives, or vibranium, but a revolution of the mind. Malcolm X has said something, I paraphrased it before, and I really liked what he said. He said, revolution knows no compromise. Revolution overturns and destroys everything that gets in its way. This truth that we're in is about revolution. Give me that scripture. Who's reading for me?
Oh, it's Ezekiel.
Ezekiel. Give me 2 Corinthians 10, please. I'm going to show you that. Revolution overturns and destroys everything that gets in its way. There is no compromise. Get that.
The book of 2 Corinthians.
Now, I'm going to cut these scriptures short because I do want to get on that marriage thing. So I'm just going to go through this thing quick.
The book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 10 and verse 3. For though we walk in the flesh.
For though we walk in the flesh, come on.
We do not war after the flesh.
See, brothers, sisters, this war is not after the flesh, meaning a war of guns and knives. It ain't that kind of war. Go ahead.
For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal.
The weapons of our warfare are not carnal, meaning sinful or man-made. Go ahead.
But mighty through God.
But our weapons are mighty through God. Come on.
To the pulling down of strongholds.
To the pulling down of strongholds. Christmas is a stronghold. We got to pull that SH down. Let me tell you that again. Mother's Day is a stronghold. We got to pull that mother down. These things are strongholds. These things must be pulled down. Why? Because they're hindering us from getting the kingdom. Read on.
Verse 5. Casting down imaginations.
Casting down, the truth of God casts down imaginations. For example, you might imagine that Jesus Christ was a white man. We gonna cast that mother down. You might imagine that Christmas is okay. We gonna cast that down too. Read it again.
Casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalted itself against the knowledge of God.
And every high thing that exalts itself above the knowledge of God. That's your white man. That's your Philly neighborhood white man. Everything he puts out in the media must be cast down, must be pulled down. Was that it?
And bringing into captivity.
And bringing into captivity.
Every thought.
Every thought that we got must be brought into captivity when what?
To the obedience of Christ.
To the obedience of Christ. Go ahead.
And having in readiness to revenge all disobedience.
We must revenge all disobedience when?
When your obedience is fulfilled.
When your obedience is fulfilled. Meaning we can't be hypocrites. We cannot be do as I say, not as I do. It must be do as I say, do as I do. That's how it has to go down.
Bishop, yes. I didn't see. Get the, what is that, Ezra 7:10? Is it saying the same thing? Saying the same thing. Just pop up in my head.
The book of Ezra, chapter 7 and verse 10. For Ezra had prepared his heart to seek the law of the Lord and to do it and to teach in Israel statutes and judgments.
Because guess what? His fulfillment of himself, knowing himself, then he was prepared to teach his people. But a lot of your brothers who teach class, then you're caught up in some dumb things out here because you don't believe you're a teacher. You don't believe that God weighs you up to teach your people. Then these are the brothers you heard, oh, I didn't know this, I didn't know that. But they're willing to teach other people. You understand? Why not let God use your body for righteousness? You know how dumb they look? You are here preaching Israel. They're watching you on YouTube. They're watching you on class, on Periscope. Now you come up here with your head down. You know how dumb they look? That's so dumb, man. Because what's going on to your head, you don't know what you stand for. You don't know what you're into. Because if you really know what you're into, you would have never be that dumb.
Some of our people sitting here, right? Some of online right now. Some of you, where's the camera for the online? Is that the one right there? Some of you online right now talking about, I don't care how bad white people hate me. I'm going to love them anyway. I'm just going to love them. Give me Psalms 139, please. You brothers and sisters like that, with your Christian mindset, your white supremacist mindset, you might not want a revolution, But you need a revolution. That's what Malcolm said. You need it bad. You need it yesterday. Give me that Psalms 139, verse 21 and 22.
The book of Psalms, chapter 139, verse 21. Do not I hate them, O Lord, that hate thee?
Do not I hate them, O Lord, that hate thee?
And am not I grieved with those that rise up against thee?
And am I not grieved with those that arise up against thee? Come on.
I hate them with perfect hatred.
Our King David said, I hate them with a perfect hatred.
That ain't in the Bible.
I know y'all thought that wasn't in the Bible. Some of you probably got that blocked out of your Bible. Now that hate that is taught, it ain't the crazy hate. Let me explain it. Because some of y'all might be crazy, so I got to explain myself so you don't go out there and be Negro. This hate that is talking about, give me Ecclesiastes 7:7, please. I'm going to explain the hate that this is talking about. Come on, Ecclesiastes 7 and 7.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7 and verse 7.
Uh-huh.
Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad.
Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad. It don't say a stupid man mad. It says a wise man. What does a wise man do when he's mad? He contemplates, he studies, he gets his thoughts together. He organizes, he builds bridges. Wise men build bridges, but fools build walls. Understand that. So in today's lesson, we're going to explain how we're going to build some bridges with our brothers and sisters. We're going to build some major bridges. From there, give me Jeremiah 29, 4 through 7. I'm going to touch on some history today.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 29, verse 4.
Come on.
Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, unto all that are carried away captives,
We've been carried away captive. We are the descendants of slaves, the diaspora. Go ahead.
whom I have caused to be carried away from Jerusalem unto Babylon.
Whom I've caused to carry away from Jerusalem unto Babylon. Go ahead.
Build ye houses.
The scriptures say, build ye houses. So it's not wrong for you brothers and sisters to want a home, to get a house in the land of your captivity. There's nothing wrong with that. Go ahead.
Build ye houses and dwell in them, and plant gardens and eat the fruit of them.
Read.
Take ye wives and beget sons and daughters.
Read.
And take wives for your sons, and give your daughters to husbands, that they may bear sons and daughters, that ye may be increased there and not diminished.
We don't die, we multiply. Read.
And seek the peace of the city.
And this is the part I wanted to get to. When it says, and seek, because some of you might get confused. It says, and seek the peace of the city. Go ahead.
Whither I have caused you to be carried away captives, and pray unto the Lord for it.
So when it says seek the peace of the city, write this down. Romans 13, obey the powers that be. That's all that means. It don't mean, oh, I love you, Mr. White Man. I just love you till the day I die. It ain't talking about that. It's talking about obey the laws of the land. That's all it's saying. And then wherein we dwell, ask the Most High for peace for those areas wherein we dwell. Nobody want Allah Akbar to set off where we live. I know I'll be driving across the bridge praying, Lord, please don't let no terrorists take part now. Wait till I cross the bridge, Lord. Then you could do what you're going to do. But not while I'm on it. Please, Lord, please. So some of you may not want a revolution, but some of us are in desperate need of a revolution, a spiritual revolution. Okay, give me Luke 21. I want to touch on some history because you may be wondering about the title of the class, from Wakanda to Mount Zion. Let's start with Luke 21. Luke 21. And I'm going to answer some questions about why doesn't the white man teach us our proper history? Let me tell you something. Your enemies will never teach you anything that's going to benefit you in case you uprise against them. Understand that. If it's going to benefit you, that you may rise up and be superior to him, he will never teach you these things. And it's mostly women that ask that question. Women and effeminate brothers. But why doesn't the white man teach us our great history? You're an idiot. We're prisoners of war here. And I'm going to explain that historically.
Bishop, that's what the problem is. They don't realize that they're prisoners of war. That's number one. Number two, you don't realize that you are our enemies to him. He's our enemy. You'll think that you're in the land of, what's going on with this thing? They don't, I said, they don't realize that they're in the land of their enemies. They don't realize that you are an enemy to him. They don't realize that. That's the reason why they make that mistake.
So now let's touch on some history. Okay. Give me Luke 21. Do you have from Babylon to Timbuktu? Somebody help him again. Somebody help Officer Isaac. Give him the book from Babylon to Timbuktu. Do I need to get my copy, officer? Yeah. You are not prepared. Somebody help him. Wow. All right. Luke 21. We're going to start at verse 20, Officer Ezekiel.
The book of Luke, chapter 21 and verse 20. And when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh.
So the armies, in case some of you are new in here, the armies he's making reference to are the Roman armies. The year he's prophesying about is the year 70 AD. There was a 7-year siege which ended around 70 AD, our destruction. Read it again.
And when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh.
Then know that the destruction is near. That's what the word nigh means, near. Read.
Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains.
Now when it says let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains, it means run deeper into Africa. Write that down. Here's a precept, Matthew 2:13. What the angel instructed our forefather Joseph to do. Matthew 2:13 for you doubting Thomases out there.
The book of Matthew, chapter 2 and verse 13. And when they were departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeareth to Joseph in a dream, saying, Arise, take the young child and his mother, and flee.
What's that word? And what?
And flee.
What?
And flee.
And what?
And flee.
And what?
And flee.
And flee. Where?
Into Egypt.
Which is deep in Africa. Read.
And be thou there until I bring thee word.
You know what we fail to realize? We fail to realize that Israel is adjacent. Israel, the land of Israel, is adjacent to the land of Egypt. You can walk from Egypt into Israel. What's the original name of Israel? Canaan. That was the land of Ham. Let me say it again in case you... Ding dong, ding dong. Israel was the land of Ham. Look up, you over here, look up, go to Google. Google is for me. Middle East term. Read that.
The term Middle East may have originated in the 1850s in the British India Office. However, it became more widely known when American naval strategist Alfred Thayer Mahan used the term in 1902 to, quote, designate the area between Arabia and India.
Now, notice, it became popular in 1902 by the devil Alfred Thayer Mahan to designate the area between, watch this, Arabia and India. Is the land of Israel in Arabia? No. But it falls under the term Middle East. This is why when you say, or you hear people say, Israel is in the Middle East, you think two things, one of two things. You think either A, white man, or B, Arab. That was strategically done so that we would forget that Israel was the land of Canaan, the land of Ham, which is modern day Africa. Everybody understand what I'm saying? Yes, sir. Okay, from there. Go back to Luke now. So we got to stop using that term, Israel is in the Middle East. No, it's in Africa, the land of Canaan. Northeast Africa, to be exact. Read.
The book of Luke, chapter 21 and verse 20. And when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh. Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains.
So those mountains we fled to was Africa, deeper into. I'll use that term now. Deeper into. Read.
And let them which are in the midst of it depart.
Run for your lives. Depart out. Read.
And let not them that are in the countries enter therein too.
Read.
For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled.
Now raise your hand if you know the answer to that verse. What was Christ making reference to? For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. In the back, pen in his hand. Last row.
Shalom, Bishop. Deuteronomy 28, the curses of the siege.
What's your name, brother?
Yahushua.
Oh, Yahweh Shabbat. Thank you. So what is it making reference to?
To Deuteronomy 28, chapter 28, the curses of the siege of Jerusalem.
Okay, very good. Let's get that. Deuteronomy 28, let's read it kind of quick, Officer Ezekiel. I want 28, verse 49 down to 52. Read that quickly for me.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28.
Now, I would go a little slower, but I want to get to that marriage thing. I can't let that thing slide. Go ahead.
Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 49. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth.
The symbol of Rome was the eagle. Read.
A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand.
The language they spoke was Latin, Latin, and that's not Spanish. Read.
Verse 50. A nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young.
They didn't care how old we were or how young. Read.
And he shall eat the fruit of thy cattle.
This is colonialism. He shall eat the fruit of what?
Of thy cattle.
Read.
And the fruit of thy land, until thou be destroyed. Which also shall not leave thee either corn, wine, or oil, or the increase of thy kind, or the flocks of thy sheep, until he have destroyed thee. And he shall besiege thee in all thy gates, until thy high and fenced walls come down.
That's talking about 70 AD. Now also, remember, these curses are reoccurring. This also happened. Let me see who's thinking now. When did this same thing happen before? Remember, it's talking about the gates being besieged, and when you keep reading down, we were resorting to cannibalism. That happened in 70 AD, but when else did it happen? On my left, on my left, on my left. Over there, my left, way over here.
Shalom, leadership, Brother Job.
Brother Job.
When the Babylonians destroyed Jerusalem.
Correct. When Babylon came and destroyed Jerusalem, they besieged our gates. We were resorting to cannibalism, just like Rome did. So the curses were reoccurring. So put that in mind, in case you meet one of these dumb, stupid Christian apologetics out there. Give me Babylon Timbuktu, page 84, please.
The book of Babylon, Timbuktu, page 84.
Who wrote this book?
The author is Rudolph R. Windsor.
Okay, come on.
In the year 65 BC, the Roman armies under General Pompey captured Jerusalem. In 70 AD, General Vespasian and his son Titus put an end to the Jewish state with great slaughter. During the period of the military governors of Palestine, many outrages and atrocities were committed against the residue of the people.
Come on.
During the period of Pompey to Julius, it has been estimated that over 1 million Jews fled into Africa.
Over 1 million Jews fled into Africa. That's what you want to keep in mind. When Christ said, when you see Jerusalem come past by armies, flee to the mountains, that's the proof right there. Okay. Now, there's also a movie called Shaka Zulu, where the British, there's a British doctor with a British general, and he asked, who are these people over here? He said, well, let's just say for metaphor's sake that they are the wandering Jews of Africa. They didn't put that in there by accident. It was purposefully put in there. They know black people asleep. Read on. Did you finish that? Come on.
Fleeing from Roman persecution and slavery, the slave markets were full of black Jewish slaves.
When it says the slave markets were full of black Jewish slaves, that's those that did not obey Christ, that remained behind to fight Rome. We lost the battle. As go back to Luke now, Luke 21. Let's jump down to verse 24.
The book of Luke, chapter 21 and verse 24. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword.
That's for those disobedient Israelites that said, no, we have a chance. We can beat Rome. It says they shall fall by the edge of the sword. Read.
And shall be led away captive into all nations.
And to you Israelites that they did not kill, that got captured, you were led away captive into all nations. Read.
And Jerusalem shall be trodden down by the Gentiles.
And Jerusalem shall be taken over by the white man. Read.
Until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled.
Until the times of their rulership be finished. So now, from there, give me Revelation 12. So what I'm explaining our entrance into Africa. We've always been in Africa. Let me stop wording it like that. Our history going deeper into Africa. Revelation 12.
Which verse?
14.
The book of Revelation, chapter 12 and verse 14.
Let me look at it. Read verse 1.
Verse 1. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars.
So it's clear in this verse, the woman that had a crown of 12 stars represents what, brothers? The 12 tribes of Israel. That's what those 12 stars represent. When it says she was clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, that represents light. What does light represent in the Bible? The law. Proverbs 6, verse 23. Write that down. I'm just rushing through it. Now I want verse 14. Come on.
Revelation 12 and verse 14. And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle.
This goes back to Luke 21 when Christ said, when you see the armies encompass Jerusalem, run! Run to the mountains, flee to the mountains. Read it again.
And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle.
We had a great escape. Why? Because Rome was on our heels. Read.
That she might fly into the wilderness.
Stop right there. That she might fly into the wilderness. That wilderness is the mountains. That's deeper into Africa. I'm going to say it again. That wilderness is Africa, deeper into Africa. Okay, read.
Into her place.
When it says into her place, that's over here in America. Here's the proof. Give me Hosea 1 and 10 about the place. Here's the proof. I know I'm going kind of quick. I just need y'all to roll with me.
The book of Hosea, chapter 1.
You might not get it today, but as you meditate and study these scriptures, you're going to get it. It's going to pop in your mind. Go ahead.
The book of Hosea, chapter 1 and verse 10. Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered.
We are the largest nation on earth. Read.
And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them,
that in the place where it was said unto them, read.
Ye are not my people.
Ye are not my people.
There it shall be said unto them, ye are the sons of the living God.
Because in this place here in America, it was said we were African Americans. That's what they said. So Judah rose up first. Okay. Then as Judah got the understanding, they started to go out and teach the other tribes. That's what it's talking about. Read on.
Verse 11. Then shall the children of Judah and the children of Israel be gathered together and appoint themselves one head.
That's Christ.
And they shall come up out of the land.
And they shall come up out of the land. So now I want to go back to that wilderness, which is, write this down, fleeing to the mountains of Luke 21 is the wilderness we fled in Revelation 12. It's saying the same thing, but it's written as a metaphor. Everybody understand what I'm saying? I need y'all to roll with me. Just roll with me. Guess what we did when we went into Africa? Deeper into Africa. Guess what we did? Not only did we fight, not only did we war, we set up empires and we joined with many of the nations, the tribes that were there. How do I know this? Give me Ezekiel 16 and 3. That should be it. Ezekiel 16 and 3. Yeah.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 16 and verse 3.
Let me start at 1 because I might be wrong.
Verse
Just start
1.
at 1. Yeah.
Again, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, cause Jerusalem to know her abominations, and say, Thus saith the Lord
Here
God
come.
unto Jerusalem, thy birth and thy nativity
And thy birth and thy nativity
is of the land of Canaan.
is of the land of Canaan. Remember, you got to know the history now. When we entered the land of, hold that. Give me Leviticus. I think it's 18 and 2. I think. Find it for me. You know what I want?
That's it, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Thy birth and thy nativity is of the land of Canaan. Watch what the Lord warned us about.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 18 and verse 2. Speak unto the children of Israel and say unto them, I am the Lord your God. After the doings of the land of Egypt,
After the doings of the land of Egypt, where we came out, come on.
wherein ye dwelt, shall ye not do.
So he said, don't follow the customs that you came from Egypt. Don't keep those customs. Read.
And after the doings of the land of Canaan, whither I bring you.
And you're about to go into another part of the land of Ham. It's called the land of Canaan. Don't what? Go ahead.
Shall ye not do.
Shall you not do? Is that the whole verse?
Neither shall ye walk in their ordinances.
Neither shall you walk in their ordinances. Now guess what? When you read on and let's say you get to the book of Judges. When you read about our forefather Samson, he saw a Philistine young lady. He said, she looked good. I want to marry her. And in our minds, I'm going to show you something. We have such a Eurocentric mindset that when we think about the history of Samson and our forefathers, we think of the white man's movies that they put out, which is so Eurocentric. You better really think about the way Africa was back in the day. Now, they wasn't all that unga bunga shooting Tootsie with the straw and all that. They had some class back then, but they was still, give me some nice words. They were somewhat civilized, but what we think of beauty, we think of the European look. That's why mother and father said, why don't you marry a daughter of your own people? Right. He said, Daddy, I want her. But her nose is, I want her. Her lip is dragging the floor, I want her. She got tribal scars, I want her. Right, he wasn't listening to counsel. So the thought of beauty is not what we are thinking today. You know how brothers, y'all be thinking about the hair weave and all that? No, our fathers didn't think about no damn hair weave back then. Let me leave y'all alone. Give me Ezekiel 16. Ezekiel 16. I saw women clenched up in their seat when I said that. He's about to go in on us. I ain't going to mention now. Come on.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 16 and verse 4. As for thy
3.
Verse 3. And say, thus saith the Lord God unto Jerusalem, thy birth and thy nativity is of the land of Canaan.
Watch this.
Thy father was an Amorite.
He's insulting us. Your father was an Amorite.
And thy mother an Hittite.
And your mother was a dusty Hittite. God is insulting us, saying, he's telling us we took on the culture, the customs of ancient Africa. That's what he's saying, and that's what we did. This is why when you read the textbooks, you read about the slaves that went to Puerto Rico and Haiti. What did we bring? What did our people bring with them? African customs. Voodoo and all that other Shango and Eligua and all that. Where did we get that from? Africa. Well, that's where we got all that stuff. The dancing with all that stuff we took from then. So now, watch this. Give me the book, Jewish Diaspora. Put it on the screen. I want the cover. It says Jewish Encyclopedia, something like that. Come on. I know somebody's online saying you can't prove what you... I already did it in the Bible. Now I'm going to go to a secondary source. Well, actually, we went to a secondary source with Babylon and Timbuktu. Now we're going to a third source. Come on, brothers. You see the cover right there. Now, when you walk into a bookstore, you'll see a book like this and walk on by. You will not think of opening this book because you got two devils, Edomites, on the cover. Encyclopedia of the Jewish Diaspora, Origins, Experiences, and Culture. This is volume 2. Now we want to go inside the book and see what the quote-unquote rabbinic scholars or Jewish scholars wrote. When you open the book, it says Africa, Jews in Africa. Now I want to go down to the highlighted part and see where they begin. Right there. Can you read that?
Yes.
Ezekiel.
Yes, sir. Jerusalem fell in 70 CE, and zealots fled to Egypt, where they fomented a Jewish revolt, capturing large parts of the countryside, but not any urban areas. The Romans suppressed these uprisings during the Great Revolt of 115 to 117 CE.
So I thought it was interesting that they started there. Okay, to go into that. Now, that history that we're reading about in Luke 21. Now, give me the next page. Go down to the bottom. Right there.
A number of groups throughout Africa claim historical links with the Jews.
Go ahead.
The most feasible claim is that of the Beta Israel of Ethiopia.
Read.
Recognized by the Israeli government as Jews in 1975.
Jump down to the next paragraph that's highlighted.
The Lemba live in Transvaal in southern Africa.
Okay, from there, give me the next page. So I thought when I opened it, and I thought this was interesting, how they're not talking about themselves, because I thought it would be talking about them initially, but it's talking about the blacks. Let's zoom in on that top part. Read that.
Jews in Africa. In Mali, several thousand people in Timbuktu claim some form of Jewish ancestry. Moors and Jews fleeing persecution in Spain migrated south in the 14th century to Timbuktu.
Now, we're going to talk about Spain in a moment. Notice it says fleeing persecution in Spain. That's during, what was that called? The Spanish Inquisition. Go ahead. But now we're going to find out how they got to Spain. Keep on reading.
part of the Songhai Empire.
See, remember I said we had set up empires. When you read about that great empire, the Songhai Empire, those were Israelites. It's telling you those were Jews that they called Moors. Go ahead. And this book is not for us. We'll be in a store, we go, la da 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 da. I ain't reading that. This is for their people. Their people read this and they're not telling us nothing. They keep it close to the hip. Read.
Askia Muhammad came to power in 1492 and forced Jews to convert to Islam or leave. After this, Judaism became illegal in Mali.
So in Mali, Judaism became illegal, letting you know it was there in Mali. Read.
In Nigeria, the Igbo may be descended from the southern and westward migrations.
It ain't no maybe. They put it in there because they know who they are. That's what I want y'all to see. Go ahead.
Of ancient Semitic peoples and later Jewish peoples from the Middle East into West Africa.
Read.
There are three groups. Beni Gat, said to have descended from the tribe of Gad.
That's Gad. Gad. Go ahead.
The eighth son of Jacob. Beni Zebulon.
Benny means son of. Benny, when you see that word B-N-E-I, that's son of. Go ahead.
Beni Zebulon from the tribe of Zebulon, the fifth son of Jacob, and Beni Manasseh. Beni Ephraim are different from other Nigerian Jewish groups as they live among the Yoruba.
Go ahead.
In Western Ghana, the House of Israel community, Sefwi Wiaswo and Sefwi Sui claim that their Sefwi ancestors are descendants of Jews who migrated south through Ivory Coast.
Through Ivory Coast. Go ahead.
The presence of Judaism
the
practice of Judaism in this community is recent and dates from the early 1970s.
Okay, go ahead.
The Abeyudea, a group founded in 1919, now consists of about 600 Ugandans who practice Judaism in eastern Uganda.
We're going to talk about Uganda in a moment. Jump down to the next highlighted part.
In Somalia, the Yibir or Hebrew tribe is looked down on as descendants of Israelites.
Jump to the next part.
A tribe in Rusapi, Zimbabwe claims ancient Jewish tribal connections.
Okay, go to the next page now. So all this is their scholars for their people to acknowledge and be aware of. Right, let's go there.
Migrations of Jews into West Africa. According to most accounts, the earliest Israeli settlements in Africa were in places such as Egypt, Tunisia, and Ethiopia. Historians believe these settlements may have been in existence as early as the kingdoms of David and Solomon.
So be aware of that. So that's why when the angel told Joseph to flee into Egypt, it wasn't just run there. We had sanctuaries there already established. Go ahead.
As well as during the Assyrian invasion of northern Israel in 722 BCE and the Babylonian captivity of Judah in 586 BCE and in the Punic Carthaginian age.
That's during the time of Hannibal. Go ahead.
These communities were augmented by subsequent arrivals of Jews after the destruction of the Second Jerusalem Temple in 70 CE.
You know what that's saying right there? Where it says these communities were augmented by subsequent arrivals of Jews after the destruction of the Second Jerusalem Temple in 70 AD? 70, AD. AD CE. It's talking about what we read in Luke 21. When Christ said, flee into Egypt, flee to the mountains. That's what they're referring to. Read that part again. This gives me goosebumps.
These communities were augmented by subsequent arrivals of Jews after the destruction of the Second Jerusalem Temple in 70 CE, when 30,000 Jewish slaves were settled throughout Carthage by the Roman Emperor Titus.
So they know our history. We don't know our history. Was that the last page? Okay. You know, I like the top part. You see where it says about the legends of Beni Musa? It tells you what the word Musa means. Son, it says sons of Moses. Y'all heard of, what's that king, the most richest king in Africa? Mansa Musa. His name Musa is Moses. I just thought it was, you know. Anyway, read the highlighted part.
Migrations into sub-Saharan Africa. In later centuries, Jews are believed to have settled in Western Africa during the height of the Songhai, Mali, Ghana, and Canaan-Bornu empires. According to the accounts from
They
explorers,
know that all these empires were Israelites or Jews. So they'll put a word like "are believed to." No. They put that in there for their people to be aware of. Read.
according to the accounts from explorers of the region, several
Wait. According to the accounts from the explorers of the region, go ahead.
several powerful Jewish families of the Songhai Empire were of Jewish origin.
Boom. Go ahead.
Until Askia Muhammad came to power and in 1492 decreed that all Jews either convert to Islam or leave the region.
So this is the history of our people when we fled into Africa. Read that next highlighted part.
Established a local Jewish community between Mali and northern Nigeria. Some accounts place West African Jewish communities in the Ondo forest of Dahomey south of Timbuktu. In the 1930s, these groups still maintained a Torah scroll written in Aramaic.
Aramaic is not talking about this Hebrew we all be seeing today. This is the old language. Go ahead.
That had been burned into parchment with hot iron instead of ink, so it could not be changed.
Go down. Let's see, was there more? Okay, was there another page? No? Okay, let's go out of there. Give me the book of Zephaniah. So we proving our points, brothers, are we not? Yes, you better believe it. Give me Zephaniah 3 and 10.
The book of Zephaniah.
That's why when I saw the movie Black, I didn't bug out. Brothers, but look at the plate in the lip. I said, he got a plate in his lip. I guarantee you check back from that tree far enough, you might have a plate in your lip too. And a bone through your nose. Read that, Zephaniah 3:10.
The book of Zephaniah, chapter 3 and verse 10. From beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, my suppliants, even the daughter of my dispersed.
The daughter of my dispersed means the daughter of my scattered. Dispersed means scattered. Was that the whole verse?
Shall bring mine offering.
Now, watch this. Watch this. Pull up the map. So here's a map of Ethiopia, right? And you see several of the rivers there. The capital of Ethiopia is Addis Ababa. And if you can see that above the words Addis Ababa, you can see the Blue Nile. Okay? You also have the, I can't pronounce it. If y'all know how to pronounce it, y'all help me out there. Yobelo River, bottom. You got the Dulo. You got the Shabeli. What? Y'all know I mess it up. Negele? Whatever. You got the Awash, and you got Lake Tana over there. So now, give me the next map. So I'm just showing you in conjunction with the scriptures, then I'm going to show you something. Give me the next map. Okay. This is the Blue Nile River. Blow it up big. I want us to be able to see it. Now, you see in Ethiopia, on my right, you see Addis Ababa, which is the capital, and you see in dark blue, that's the Blue Nile, and how it goes out of Ethiopia towards the Sudan, and it connects with the Nile River system. You see it in yellow. And it goes all the way down. Okay, now, what I want to do, Ezekiel, I want you to go to from Babylon. I had to fact check our brother, our dearly beloved brother, Rudolph R. Windsor. I said, let me see if what he's saying is true. Read that, because there are some bones in the book. You got to fact check when you're, because all these books ain't 100%. The Bible is 100%. That's the primary source of information. Babylon to Timbuktu, page 79.
The book of the book of Babylon to Timbuktu. By the time of the prophet Zephaniah, about 630 BC, Ethiopia and the adjacent lands of Uganda and Kenya were swarming with black Jews. Zephaniah says, 3 verse 10, from beyond the rivers of Ethiopia my suppliants, even the daughter of my dispersed shall bring mine offering. This verse is an indication that the Israelites would be multiplying and making converts among the inhabitants beyond the rivers of Ethiopia. No doubt this prophet had communication with the Jews in this remote area. The rivers of Ethiopia connect with the Nile water system.
That's what I was showing you here, how that main river, that blue Nile connects with the yellow, which is the Nile. Go ahead.
In the heart of Ethiopia. The Atbara River extends from the highlands of modern Ethiopia to the Nile. The Blue Nile extends from the direction of Addis Ababa in a northwestern direction toward the Nile. Near Uganda and northern Congo is the Bahr el
See at the bottom,
Ghazal River.
at the bottom on the map, you got Uganda, and on my left it says Congo, and on the right it says Kenya. Go ahead, right down there at the bottom. That's what it's talking about. Read.
It is 500 miles long. In southwest Sudan, formed by the confluence of Bahar el Arab and Jur rivers in northwest Upper Nile. It flows east to unite at Lake No with the Bahr el Jebel and from the White Nile. These areas are, quote, beyond the rivers of Ethiopia. Moreover, there are any records of oral traditions of the existence of Jewish tribes.
I think that's all I wanted. Was that all I wanted? Is that the only highlighted part?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Give me the next map. Let me see something. I gave you another one map. I want to see why I gave it to you. Okay. I want you see the blue Nile above Addis Ababa. And again, you got it connects to the Nile, which goes from, you see Cairo, all through Egypt, it goes through Sudan, it goes down to Uganda, it goes down, you got the Congo on the left, you got Kenya on the right, it goes down to Burundi at the very bottom, and it keeps going down. So the prophecy is, the scriptures is telling us where the Israelites would be. Now, go back to Zephaniah. I'm going to show you this because you might be thinking, well, maybe it was for back then, but it's not current for today. Let's see.
Zephaniah chapter 3 and verse 10. From beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, my suppliants, even the daughter of my dispersed shall bring mine offering. In that day shalt thou not be ashamed for all thy doings, wherein thou hast transgressed against me. For then I will take away out of the midst of thee them that rejoice in thy pride, and thou shalt no more be haughty because of my holy mountain.
Which is Israel. Read.
I will also leave in the midst of thee an afflicted and poor people.
And that's how they are, afflicted and poor over there. Go ahead.
And they shall trust in the name of the Lord.
And they shall trust in the name of the Lord. Read, watch this.
The remnant of Israel shall not do iniquity.
It's telling you the remnant of Israel is right there. Keep reading.
Nor speak lies, neither shall a deceitful tongue be found in their mouth.
Watch this.
For they shall feed and lie down, and none shall make them afraid.
So is that in the past or is that now? That's now. When it says, and they shall feed and lie down, and none shall make them afraid. That's going into the coming kingdom. Because right now they're under fear. So we're reading prophetically locations of where the Israelites are. So we got to get out, and guess what? A lot of them have never been mixed with nothing. So they got, their look is not like, we got the high yellow looks and all that. They don't got that.
They ain't been Americanized.
Right. No, they don't got a Jerry curl. They ain't got none of that.
No perm.
They might be unga bunga and all of that stuff.
Blue, black.
Yeah, exactly. You making jokes. Give me Zechariah chapter 8, verse 7 and 8. Zechariah chapter 8.
The book of
And I want the next map. Go back to the maps. There's another map I sent you. It shows two sides. Hold on. Let me get this map. X side, I don't want this no more. On it. I'm sorry. Go back. I forgot something. I wrote it down. Go back to that. Yeah. When you keep going down on that river, I wrote it down because it was not on that map. Where is it? Dag. Oh, I got it right there in my Bible. I wrote it down. It goes through from Egypt, Sudan, watch this, Tanzania, Uganda, Kenya. Dag, my handwriting's like chicken scratch. Rwanda down to Zaire, Z-A-I-R-E. You heard about Rwanda? Goes all through there. So we'll look at them and go, who the hell are them Hamites? The Bible is saying the remnant of Israel is there. Give me I don't know. Over here, I want the next map.
So that means Bishop. That's where we go to gather. We're going to go there and gather.
Oh, then you better believe that. Give me the next map. I sent you a map. It's on the group me. Right there. Blow that big. Now give me Zechariah 8, 7 and 8.
The book of Zechariah, chapter 8 and verse 7.
Listen good.
Thus saith the Lord of hosts, behold, I will save my people from the east country.
I will save my people, not all nations, my people from what?
From the east country.
The east country is Africa. The east country is Africa. And yes, some of us in Europe too. I'm not denying that, but I'm saying it's talking about Africa right there. Read.
And from the west country.
The west country is the continent of the Americas right there. That's the east and the west. The east country and the west country. That's what it's talking about. Read.
Verse 8. And I will bring them, and they shall dwell in the midst of Jerusalem, and they shall be my people, and I will be their God in truth and in righteousness.
Now, what you going to do about that? What you going to say about that? Now, give me Revelation. Now that have we been proving our points, brothers and sisters? You better believe it. That's why I said Black Panther. It didn't piss me off. I got excited. I said, you know what? Because Esau got so much pride, he'll put it out.
Yep. That's what
He'll just put it out and piss everybody off, and everybody's saying this and saying that. I'm just thinking about the word of the Most High. I said, you know what?
too many people don't do.
We going to use this to God's advantage. That's all we going to do. Watch this. Revelation 11. And we're going to start at, and I want you to roll with me on this. Watch this. Revelation 11. I'm going to show y'all something. No, Lava, that's not what I want yet. Not yet. When you read Revelation 11, okay, Lava yells out 1 through 6. Okay. When you read Revelation 11, 1 through 6, listen good what I'm saying. I want you to look at verse 3.
The book of Revelation, chapter 11 and verse 1. And there
I said verse 3.
Verse 3.
Don't listen to Lob, listen to the bishop.
And I will give power unto my 2 witnesses.
Stop. I want you to underline my 2 witnesses. Now, Christian commentaries say that in the last stage, you got 2 old, crippled white people running around saying things. That's not talking about 2 old, crippled white people. I'm going to show you. When you read about the 2 witnesses, it goes into the law and the testament because it gives you an example of Elijah and Moses. But it's not talking about Elijah and Moses. It's talking about the 2 kingdoms of the nation of Israel. I'm going to prove it to you. So in verse 3, you read about my 2 witnesses. Now, I want you to jump down to verse 10.
Verse 10. And they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them and make merry, and shall send gifts one to another, because these 2 prophets.
Stop. I want you to underline that. 2 prophets. It went from 2 witnesses to 2 prophets. Now watch how it changed next. Go to verse 13.
Verse 13.
It's going to really explain who the 2 witnesses, the 2 prophets are.
And the same hour was there a great earthquake, and the 10th part of the city fell. And in the earthquake were slain of men 7,000. And the remnant.
And the what?
And the remnant were affrighted, and gave glory to the God of heaven.
Notice this, what is it calling them there in that verse?
Remnant.
The remnant. The remnant of Israel. So the 2 witnesses are the 2 prophets is the remnant of Israel. Now, let's jump back up to verse 7.
Revelation chapter 11 and verse 7.
Write this down. Now, write this down. From verse 7, we're going to read about Renaissance, 1492. Transatlantic slave trade. Write that down. Revelation chapter 11, verse 7 begins 1492, the Renaissance. Watch.
Revelation chapter 11 and verse 7. And when they shall have finished their testimony,
The Israelites, the remnant, go ahead.
the beast that ascended out of the bottomless pit.
Now you read that word beast and get confused. Who's the beast? The beast is still talking about men. Give me the Ecclesiastes. Was it 3 something or 4 something?
3:18.
3:18. Thank you. Get that. For you new brothers and sisters, let me help you out with the word beast. Come on.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3 and verse 18. I said in mine heart concerning the estate of the sons of men, that God might manifest them, and that they might see that they themselves are beasts.
So the beasts are the sons of men. So let's go back to Revelation chapter 11 and verse 7 once again.
Revelation 11 and verse 7.
Watch this.
And when they shall have finished their testimony,
When the Israelites have finished their testimony,
The beast that ascendeth out of the bottomless pit.
The white man that ascendeth out of Europe, that's the bottomless pit out of Europe. Go ahead. The cave, let me be more specific. The caves of the Caucasus Mountains of Georgia, Russia. That's the bottomless pit. Read.
Shall make war against them.
They made war against us, and what happened?
And shall overcome them and kill them.
They destroyed us. I'm going to show you all that with some proof. Everything we say today, I'm going to prove it to you. They made war against us during the time of Renaissance. They overcame us. They got us in Spain, Rome, Constantinople. The last place they got us was Russia. They got us even in Africa, because those of us that fled from Spain and Portugal and Constantinople, those of us that escaped fled back to Africa. Let's read on. I'm going to show you all that. Go ahead.
And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city.
And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city. Now, they are not physically dead, but they are spiritually dead. But I'm going to read the whole verse so I'll explain what I'm saying. Go ahead.
And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified.
The great city is making reference to, first and foremost, is Babylon the Great, which is the United States of America. Write that down. How do we know that? Because hasn't America passed same-sex marriage? That's why it's called Sodom. Pull up Canada. Find me Great Seal of America. On a dollar bill. Type in Seal of America dollar bill. Now, read the verse again.
Revelation 11 and verse 8. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually...
Stop. Which spiritually, not literally, but spiritually. So this place is not literally Sodom or Egypt, but it's spiritually called Sodom and what?
And which is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt.
And Egypt. Why? If you look here on the screen, many of you have a dollar bill, you'll see the Great Seal. Under it says, notice it says the Great Seal. What is it? It's an Egyptian pyramid with the all-seeing eye of Ra on top. At the bottom, you got Roman numerals, which is 1776. That's when it was established. Under it, it says Novus Ordo Seclorum, New World Order. On top of it, it says Annuit Coeptus, our enterprise success. That's what it's talking about. So they know. Now type in Washington Monument. Show you how this place is spiritually called Egypt. They know that this place is spiritually Egypt. You got an actual Egyptian obelisk as the Washington Monument. That's a real Egyptian obelisk that they stole from ancient Egypt and set it here in Washington, D.C. So let's go back now. Revelation
11, verse 11
and 8.
Verse 8. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified.
Type in Jesus. Right there. That's what it means when it says where also our Lord was crucified. His image was crucified as a black man. They changed it. And his teachings have been crucified. His image was crucified and his teachings were crucified. That's what it's making reference to. They changed his whole look, his whole teachings. Okay, get off of that before Ephraim start worshiping. Santa Maria, Jesus Cristo. Where we at now?
We're at verse 9. Revelation 11 and verse 9. And they of the people and kindreds and tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half.
350 years.
And shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves.
Because we're not physically dead. That's what it means when it says, and shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves. Give me that in Proverbs. You know what I want?
Yes, sir.
Is it 21? Where is it? You know what I want?
Yes, sir.
They that wander out of the...
Way of the understanding.
Yeah. Thank you.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 21 and verse 16. The man that wandereth out of the way of the understanding shall remain in the congregation of the dead.
Now you may ask, but wait a minute. How did we go from being that great nation to becoming wandering out of the way of understanding? Well, it's simple. When they conquered us during the time of slavery, what laws did they set up regarding our education? We could not read or write. They made us base people. That's what they did. Those of us that were kings and rulers, they killed us. The rest, they said, raise these kids up as ignorant children. That's what they did. Okay, let's go back to Revelation. I'm going to prove everything I'm saying. I'm going to just keep saying it. Where are we reading down to? We're going down to 11. Go ahead.
Verse 10. And they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them and make merry.
They made Christmas celebrations called Merry Christmas. Go ahead.
And shall send gifts one to another.
They shall send gifts one to another with our sons and our daughters as slaves. Go ahead.
Because these two prophets tormented them that dwelt on the earth.
Now I want to pause right there. Because these two prophets, read that next line.
These two prophets tormented them that dwelt on the earth.
Read it again.
These two prophets tormented them that dwelt on the earth.
One more time.
These two prophets tormented them that dwelt on the earth.
One more time.
These two prophets tormented them that dwelt on the earth.
See, we tormented them during the time of the Middle Ages. Jump back up to verse 7. I want y'all to see something.
Verse 7. And when they shall have finished their testimony, the beast that ascended out of the bottomless pit shall make war.
What's that word?
Shall make war.
What's that word?
Shall make war.
We are prisoners of war. This is what the Bible is revealing. Now jump down to what you just read in verse 10. Because
these two prophets tormented them that dwelt on the earth.
During that time, we tormented them when we ruled. See, you want to know why the white man will not teach? Are you kidding me? You've got to be an idiot to think they're going to teach us that we tormented them and ruled them. Y'all saw the movie Planet of the Apes? There's a scene, I'm talking about the old one, the original. There's a scene where one of the, I think it was an orangutan, whatever, he said, we never meant it to get out that these people at one time ruled us. They kept that thing secret. They said if they know that they ruled us, they will rise up against us. Now, let's get into some. Give me the book. Canada, listen to me. Give me the book Spanish Illumination. This is y'all's favorite book. But I do like this book. Spanish Illumination. Give me the cover. We made some very profound statements. You got some Edomites online probably heckling and laughing. Ha! You niggas never ruled us. Oh, okay. Here's a book put together by John Williams. It's called Early Spanish Manuscript Illumination. That's the cover. Now, it's a strange cover. Now, it'll strike your attention because you see black people on the cover. You see black angels and you see a black Jesus in the middle with black cherubims on either side of him. Hey, I want to see what this book is about. I'm looking at the faces, y'all. What's up? You're looking at feet. I'm looking at faces. Let's go inside the book. Okay, this is the same image. Now, I want the next, move that over if you can. Just move it over. And I want the next page with the writing. This is in Spain prior to the Renaissance. Let me say it again. This is in Spain before the Renaissance. Now, this is plate A to plate 8B. Moriola in Job of 945. Christ in majesty. Now, let's read that.
Christ, whose darkened flesh tones now give him an almost negroid cast.
Stop! Give me the picture. Put the picture back. This is how white people be lying. Zoom in on the one in the middle. Let's zoom in. And almost, no, that's Negro. That's Negro. That ain't no quasi, maybe. See, these are the pictures I like, where it ain't no, no doubt.
That's beautiful. Look at the hands.
No room for doubt. No, that's black. That's Negro. That's like in the first book I showed you that it said about the Jews in Nigeria. It said, they claim to be. That's what they do in their books. But we'll read that and go, oh, maybe that's not true. They're saying they claim, but no, they're saying it for their people. Just like in this book, their people will read this and go, they was ruling in Spain. You and I will read this and go, it says almost Negro, so they're not really black. Maybe there was a fire, and the fire just jumped on their face and their hands and forgot to get on their clothes. And the white The white, look on the side. The flowers on the side. I forgot to get on that. But the fire just jumped in their face, hands and feet. Okay. Y'all see that? This is in Spain. Because we ruled Spain.
Let me ask somebody. I want y'all to think about this question. Why is it that these books exist? Bishop already said it, so this should be easy. This shouldn't take a minute. Just be
Shalom,
very
leadership,
quick.
Brother Yair.
Shalom.
These books exist to edify the our enemies' children, so they know their history and our history as well, but not to teach us.
Yeah, you said it. I'll make it more clear. Say it again. I want to make sure that they understood exactly what you said. Sound like you were saying two things at once.
These books are made for the edification of our enemies and their children.
Made for the edification of our enemies.
Right.
Yes.
And their children.
Yes.
Edifying them to what?
Who they are and who we are.
What's the purpose of doing that?
So they can keep themselves in control of us.
If you have a people in bondage, you have them in captivity, right? Just like what you know about any conqueror. Before you go to conquer a people, you have to first find out what united them in the first place.
Right.
You need to know what unified them. You need to know what their laws are. Everything about them, you need to capture that information because that is the glue that unifies the people. So me as a conqueror, me as an enemy, I need to take that and keep that in my pocket.
Right.
But I'm not going to live forever. I'm going to die, and I want my succeeding generations to know what I know, so I teach them.
Right.
That's one of the reasons why they had the classrooms segregated, because they wanted to be able to teach their children without you sitting in the same classroom hearing what they're talking about.
That's
It ain't got
100%.
nothing to do with your skin color. They need to talk about you, and they can't talk about you with you being in the room.
Exactly. And you know another thing about this in Spain, because when you hear about the term Moors, that's why I always say the term Moors, it's a generic term which simply means blacks. You could have the Muslim, because the Muslims also came in, but in Islam, they have laws not to paint any images. So the ones that painted these images were not Islamic at all. No. They were Jews, they were Israelites, they were Christians, okay? That's who these were. Let's go out now.
Yeah, you know, Bishop, like you just said, these are code word for their children. Like when you see the word maybe or suppose, or claims, these are code word. Because if you put something claims, you have to say what is claim to. What the hell are you talking about? But they put those words there is code word for their people. When they're reading it, they're like, pretend or claim. They're talking about that guy is black. You understand? These are code words.
When they read those code words, that's like, they meant they're not for the Negroes to pick this up.
Right, that's for us. Don't pick this up. Give me the next picture. X out of this. I want the next one. Okay, here's another picture. Now, this is a kind of a quasi picture, but if you zoom in, you can see how some of them got darker hue around the forehead down. Now, I want you to move over. I want to see who this is. Just move over. Canada, move over. I can see that. Can y'all see that they're black? I see that they're black. Look at some of the face tones. But now watch this. I want you to close it down. Don't leave it. But I want the next page, Canada. The writing about this. Now y'all see the golden helmet, right? Y'all see the gold helmet on that guy with the spear in his hand, the shield. You got an army on one side and an army on the other side. Let's move over. Give me the next page. Yes. Let's see who this is. Plate 9A. Leon Bible of 960. It says, the Philistines stood on a mountain on the one side, and Israel stood on a mountain on the other side, and there was a valley between them. And there went out a man base-born from the camp of the Philistines named Goliath of Gath, whose height was 6 cubits and a span. And he had a helmet of brass upon his head, and he was clothed in a coat of mail with scales. And the weight of his coat of mail was 5,000 sickles of brass. And he had greaves of brass on his legs, and a buckler of brass covered his shoulders. And the staff of his spear was like a weaver's beam. And the Philistine said, I have defied the bands of Israel this day. Give me a man and let him fight with me hand to hand. 1 Samuel 17, 3-10. Go back to the picture. There you go. Let's see the whole thing. One side you got the Israelites, the other side you got the Philistines. Look how similar they look. In the center, you got Goliath of Gath.
Do y'all see this? This is
Black
beautiful.
people.
Wow.
Black.
I don't think it hit
people.
them, Bishop.
It didn't hit them.
It didn't hit them.
Y'all still mowing it around your head.
This is what you just saw on the screen. Let
Let me help him out there. Zoom in the back to the military, the army. Zoom in. Zoom in on the faces. Yeah. Y'all don't see them black skin back there? What is wrong with y'all? You should rejoice over this stuff.
Right.
So not only do we go to the Bible, we got reference, we got proof. See, this is why we can't waste our time arguing with the Christian apologetics. They'll look at that and go, that's a lie. It's a lie, though. It's not true. Look. Some of them are white.
Right.
No. You can see how they tried to water it down.
That's what I want
That's
y'all
what
to
you can see.
Look.
That's how they begin to whitewash things. They take some of that color out.
And they got a lot of books that show when they went in there and tried to wipe them down. I know you didn't bring them all, Bishop.
I didn't bring
You got plenty of them. I've seen them.
I ain't bring them all. But that's supposed to be, look at the helmet of brass. And they got Goliath with a beard on his face. That's funny. Okay? And a big spear in his hand. Okay? So now go, give me the next page. Give me the next. I think I have something else. Give me the next page. So when the scriptures say we tormented them, we tormented them. Okay, look at this. Let's read this. Zoom in. Let me look at it. Okay, Leon Bible of 960. Leviticus, it says Aaron in the tabernacle. Leviticus is the only book in the 960 Bible to have I forgot to mention this. We had Bible. They found Bibles in Spain with these images painted in the Bibles. Leviticus is the only book in the 960 Bible to have introductory full-page picture. Its subject is the wilderness tabernacle described in Exodus, where Aaron and his sons are to perform priestly functions according to the prescriptions in Leviticus. Aaron is the largest figure wearing the golden diadem and voluminous priestly garments. He reaches forward to anoint the horns of the altar with the blood of a calf as his sons join in the ceremony. Let's go to the picture now. Go over. Come on, Canada. We want the image. That's it. Aaron is the largest figure in the temple. Let's zoom in. Let's zoom in on Aaron. I want y'all to look at the black man with the big fro right there. Do y'all see that? And you can see they tried to whitewash him too.
Zoom in some more so they can really see it.
And look at the sons of Aaron, black. Do y'all see this? This is a Bible they found in Spain. This is inside the temple. Black people, go to the ones on the out. Look how blacked up them two in the middle down there.
Look down there.
Look at the hands.
Right.
Look at the feet. Look at the big black feet. Is there some people on the outside of in the court? Go over. Up to the right. Yeah, go up. Okay, there's some more. Look at the hands. Look how the hands don't really match the faces.
Right.
You can see how they touched up this stuff.
Y'all know they did that during the iconoclasm period, right?
Yes.
They went in like during Europus. They went in there and whitewashed down the pictures.
Let's go out now. Give me the next page. Right, look at the feet. Some of them you got two white feet there. Then you got black in the center. Give me the next picture. Next page. Okay. You can zoom in there. Well, actually, give me the wording for this so we can see what we're looking at. Give me the wording. Okay. It says, plate 20, heavenly Jerusalem. And he took me up in spirit to a mountain great and high, and showed me the holy city Jerusalem coming down out of heaven from God. And it had a wall great and high with 12 gates. On the east are 3 gates, on the north 3 gates, and on the south 3 gates, and on the west 3 gates. And the wall of the city had 12 foundation stones, and on them 12 names of the 12 apostles of the Lamb. And the city stands 4 square, and its length is as great as its breadth. And he measured the city with the reed, and the foundations of the wall of the city were adorned with every precious stone. And I saw no temple therein, for the Lord God and the Lamb are the temple thereof. Go back to the picture now. Bam. On the east 3 gates, on the north 3 gates. Look at them. Black children of Israel.
Y'all see this? And it is exactly as the scripture was saying, because it's making the point that it's a perfect square. That's why it says the breadth is equal to the length.
black people. And you can see they tried to water them down. I see it crystal clear. But I can see the differentiate with the hands, the feet, the face. I see they tried to touch him up. So you got Judah at one gate, Benjamin, Levi, Ephraim, Manasseh, Gad, Simeon, so forth and so on. Black men with Christ and a father in the middle. Y'all see that? Wow. Give me the next one, if there's another one. I don't know if there was.
You know what's amazing about what you're going over, Bishop? Our people, and we are fans of education, don't get me wrong. But you can't pay for this kind of, you go to all your prestigious university with all them books, and all the like the stuff that we reading, and they will show you none of this. And you're paying all kinds of money. Here we are, we're bringing the information out crystal clear. Books from Harvard, some of the books that you got up here come out of Harvard, Yale, Oxford University, all books like that. And some of y'all sit here and play games. Right. Hear all of this information, hear all of this knowledge, and you just go back out there and become nothing. I don't understand the Negro.
Like that dude that ran out of here and joined the unapologetic community. Stupid Negro. Dumb as hell. Okay, here's plate 15 and 16. The woman clothed in the sun that we just read about, and the dragon. And the great sign appeared in heaven, a woman clothed in the sun, and the moon was under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. And being with child, she cried out in her travail. And behold, a great red dragon having 7 heads and 10 horns. And his tail was dragging along the third part of the stars of heaven. And it dashed them to the earth. And she brought forth a male child, who is to rule all nations with a rod of iron. And the child was caught up to God and to his throne. Michael and his angels battled with the dragon. The great dragon was cast down, the ancient serpent, he who is called the devil and Satan. Now let's get the image. Let's look at the woman which represents the 12 tribes of Israel on my left. Let's zoom in. You see the dragon with the 7 heads? Let's get the woman which represents Israel. A black woman clothed with the sun and the moon. Is the moon under her feet? Go pull up a little bit. That's the moon under her feet. Black! So what you gonna do about that, my Christian apologetics, you LGBT community? What are you gonna do about that? Look, black angels right there. Look at that. And they're throwing white people in fiery furnace over there on the right.
Y'all see that, right? I don't think they got that, Bishop. Look at the so-called white man. Look at them. So yes, they had the color. That's right. Give the Lord a hand for that thing. That's Christian. Do you see how dangerous this is to your mind? For us to know this? Damn,
go up.
Got the so-called white man in the right. The angels doing
throwing them in. There you go.
Look at this.
Christ and the angels. Look at that. Christ right there, black man sitting on the throne. Y'all see that? Black. Where is this? Spain. In Spain. In Spain.
Look at the color contrast so y'all can understand they're talking about 2 different people. Look at the color contrast of the faces and the bodies of what we're showing you with Christ, the angels. To go back and get the Medomites again. So you can get the instant comparison. Huh? The A-B pack comparison. Look. Red people. Look at them. That's beautiful.
All
That's
praises.
beautiful.
Was there
That is
more to
beautiful.
that, Canada? Was there anything else on that book? That was it? Okay, now X out of that. Oh, we ain't finished yet. We're not finished. Give me Image of the Black. You know I love this book. You can X out of all that. I want Image of the Black.
That was some good stuff right there, brothers.
Oh, yeah.
Can I get a witness? All praise to the Most High. Go ahead, Bishop.
Now watch the price of that book shoot up. Y'all better hurry up and get your copy. I'm telling you.
You're going to have
X out of this, Canada.
have to have a retina scan by the time you go there and get the book that time. Next time.
That's it. Now this book here. Now, this book, it is hard to get. This is the new edition, but I managed to get the new edition. The Image of the Black in Western Art. Look at the title under it, the subtitle. From the early Christian era to the, what does that next part say? To the age of discovery, from the demonic threat to the incarnation of sainthood. Now, notice who's edited. It's edited by David Byman and Henry Louis Gates Jr. You know, when I was at the school in Rochester, or Buffalo, they didn't have the cover. and inside it didn't say Henry Louis Gates Jr. And I kept saying it. So I'm trying, and his name was not there.
Wow.
So I guess they had the older edition, but on this edition they got his name there. So, but what I want y'all to see, let's see the face of this guy in armor.
Where's that book from, Bishop?
Harvard. Is it Harvard or Yale?
It's Harvard. It's on the inside cover. I was looking for the word on the outside, but
it's on the inside.
The book,
yeah.
It tells you Harvard University Press.
And this is like you said, this is why they wanted to keep the schools segregated.
Yep.
Because they didn't want us, to find this stuff out. Notice how dark, and this ain't no quasi, how can I be sure black? This is a black man. I want you to understand that. Let's go inside the book. Oh, watch this. Zoom in on them words. I'm going to show you how the devil's a white man. I mean, the white man's the devil.
Same thing.
Y'all see, I got it. Remember we did the breakdown of Judah, and we went over this brief.
Right, exactly.
And we were trying to figure out what they were saying. Remember that? Look at this. A mutation in the official iconography. St. Maurice becomes a black man.
There you go.
You see something wrong with that sentence? Becomes a black man. The program for the decoration of the Cathedral of Magdeburg, undertaken about 1240 AD to 1250 AD, included a surprising departure in St. Maurice's iconography. Until then, represented as white, he became a black man. See, that's the lie right there.
Now, they put that in there again, the code words again. White folks will read that and they say, well, we know that these was put in there to put the Negro to sleep just in case he make a mistake and come across this information.
Exactly. Let's go into the book now. Now, what I want to show y'all, in this section of this book, they show all black people as St. Maurice. I'm going to show you that's not all St. Maurice that we're looking at. So, okay, let's, for argument's sake, say, okay, that's St. Maurice. Okay, he's wearing armor. Okay, this is and the reason I like this, these are statues, not paintings. Because the Christian apologetics and they're lying behinds, they'll say, oh, you touched it. It's a wooden canvas. That's why they're brown. Well, nigga, devil, he's black and it's a statue.
There you go.
You devils, you.
Now, y'all got to think about
What are you going to do with that? What are you going to do with that? They even knocked the nose off.
They couldn't try.
They said, no,
it was too big.
They said, he's too black. He blue black.
They couldn't get the whole nose, Bishop. It was too big.
The nose was too big.
They got part of it.
Yeah.
They said, damn, the Negro features are still there. Gee, Harvey, what are we going to do?
Yes. So when you read about the Knights of the Round Table, things of that nature, I'm showing you, all that was us. All that was us. I'm going to prove it. Let's go further into the book.
Bishop, they call us a hate group, but who wrote these books?
Exactly.
We're a hate group for finding them?
Right. We found the books, now
we found them, now we're a hate group.
Come on, Canada, come on. I said, let's go to the next picture. Okay, let's get the wording at the bottom. Now, I want to see what number. Okay, 121. It's the 121 is on my left. It says, St. Maurice detail of a painted panel from the outer right-hand wing of a whatever that word is. This is in Vienna, 1447. Look at the year. 122, which is next to it, St. Maurice, detailed of the painted reverse of the right wing of an altarpiece. Notice the year, 1370 to 1380. I want y'all to notice the difference in years. One says 1447, the other one says 1370. And they're both St. Maurice. Let's go up. Now, let's look at these for a second. If you know anything about a family crest or a family seal, how do we know, let's say Deacon Asaph writes me a letter, I'm in Vienna. How do I know it comes from him? The signet of his seal. Remember, don't think about what you got going on today in this dumb kingdom. Back then they used an insignia, which, like a stamp, that's the word I was looking for, a stamp. You put wax, then your symbol, you put in it, whether it was a wolf or whatever. My point for saying that is this. Look on the coat of the shield. You see two different crests. One you got a cross, one you got a bird. These are not the same people. But the book says they're the same. Your family crest is your family crest. You don't change arbitrarily. I feel like getting a different symbol today. You didn't do that.
Not at all.
You did not do that. Your family crest was your family crest. Whatever military you belonged to, that was their symbol. You didn't change from Monday to Thursday. I'm going to change my symbol today. That's Negro. But this is what they'll lead you to believe. So these are two different guys here. Black. Are they black brothers? You better believe it. Give me the next page.
Yeah, even though their face look totally different.
Right.
People.
And notice they're wearing armor.
Right.
Armor! We don't know nothing. You think of a man, a knight in shining armor, you think white folks. Right. Oh no. How deceived we've become. Next.
And the whole idea of saying that they're all the St. Maurice was to make you think there was one Negro out that whole region.
Exactly.
That's the point.
Zoom in on the bottom so we get the numbers. I want the numbers at the bottom. Okay, there's 132. It says St. Maurice. Detail of the left wing of a carved altarpiece, 1450 to 1500. 133. St. Maurice again. Detail of the left wing of a carved altarpiece, dated 1492. 1492. Let's take a look at them. Pull back out. Black men, not only do they have armor on, they have capes. What you gonna do about that?
Capes, Bishop.
They had gold
capes.
See, you'll see stuff like this and go, no, that's too glorious for black people.
No.
What happened to the plate in the lip? What happened to the bone in the nose?
No.
Oh, no. Those of us that ventured out and conquered Europe, this is how we got down. We wore armor and we had capes.
Right.
We was bad to the bone. When we walked through cities, they moved the hell out our way.
Now, with this kind of majesty...
And they jet black. This ain't a painting.
Right.
These are statues.
Can y'all dig it? Can you dig it?
Can you dig it? See, they don't know where that's from. Y'all know where that's from? Yeah, all right. Let's go to the next one now. Okay, now here's another one. Okay, you got the black woman with a black baby, bottom left. Look at the nose. You got a black man on my right. Let's go up. Let's look up. Go up. Come on up. Let's look at that castle. Let's look at the castle. There's a head of a black man with, you can see the hair.
Right by the door.
The peppercorn hairstyle. That's how they used to do it with the gate above his head. Then on this side, on my right, you got two heads of black men with the bandana, whatever it's called. What'd you say? I said on your mic.
Like in the back of the room, behind, right there in the wall we have. Just like that, at the mall.
Oh, on the wall.
On the wall right there.
I'm talking to my pump. I'm like, on the wall. On the wall, correct.
On the wall behind you.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So you see black men and that's not a painting. That's stone carvings. Right. Not a wooden canvas. Not a wooden canvas. Look at that, a castle. That was us.
That was us.
That was us. That was us.
You think with this kind of information, you think that we're going to relegate ourselves as selling dope to our own people? If we had an inkling that we come from this beautiful history.
Exactly. Come on, next picture. Zoom in. What does that say? You know who it's going to say it is. It's St. Maurice again. Let's see. Oh, yeah, look. Canada, come on. It says statue of St. Maurice. And it's a kid now. He's a little boy. St. Maurice has a little boy wearing armor. Wow. Done in 1425. Look at the year, 1425. A little black boy. That's St. Maurice. This all. Remember the word more means what, brothers? Black. That's all. So it's generic.
Yes.
They just throw the word Maurice, more. They just throw that out there. Come on. No, this is a heavy one. I want y'all to look at the top right painting. Let's zoom in on the top right.
For them to go through.
What do you see? This is when we began to lose our empire and a renaissance was ushering in and they were killing us. Those of us that got captured, they were slaughtering us, enslaving some of us. Those of us that escaped fled to Africa. This is what they're showing you. This was the demise. Can you read Revelation 11:7 once again? And keep that picture right there. I want that picture to stay right there on this verse.
The book of Revelation, chapter 11 and verse 7. And when they shall have finished their testimony, the beast that ascended out of the bottomless pit,
The white man that ascended out of the Europe. Go ahead.
shall make war against them,
They made war against us. Go ahead.
and shall overcome them
And they overcame us
and kill them.
and they killed us. What are we reading? The Bible. What are we looking at? Archaeology to verify what we're reading. Now notice the devil pope, the white man right there. But then on this side, you got the same devil pope during some kind of coronation. Look how majestic we dressed with the armor and the capes. It's so unusual. You think of cape, you think white man, Superman, Batman. You don't think Negro at all. You think Negro, you think blank man.
Yeah, Bishop. You notice that in the left-hand picture, the white man honored the black man, right? You notice that in the right hands, that's when they execute him, they overcome them. You see, it's the same white man picture right there. It's the same man.
The same man,
with their
same
red.
devil.
That's the same man right there.
So he's in power by where he's standing. The black man standing, so he's with the pride in himself where he's standing. The Edomite standing there, then he loses the power on the right. It's a before and after.
Yep. Exactly. So now let's go to the next page. So all these black people that we keep seeing as St. Maurice. Let's see who this young man is. Let's zoom in at the top. Wait, what's the number at the bottom? Give me the bottom. I got to see the number. No, that's the page. I want the plate number. 146. Oh, gosh. Now let's go to the top. Page 1. Let's look at page. Oh, God. 146. Oh, look who it is again. It's St. Maurice. Statue from a niche in the central panel of the altarpiece of the high altar, done in the year 1480. A black man! Look how... I can't even get my words. He got studs in his armor.
Yep.
Gold-plated armor. With a cape, a long cape on. Go back.
Pull it back out.
Look at that. The long cape goes around the shield to the floor. We were some glorious people. A Christian more. Thank you. Yes, a Christian. Did we make this up? This is in a book from where? Harvard. Some people, you niggas made that up. No, we didn't. We didn't make this up. Your scholars put this together, and we are very appreciative. Because your demise is coming.
How did you find this out? That's what they say. How?
How did you find it? How could you afford the book?
Right, exactly.
Don't worry,
Find
we
somebody.
afford the
Who
book.
let you out? Who let you, That's how they are. They're
Let's go to the
upset.
next picture.
Go ahead.
Look at this. This is and look at this. Now, guess what? On the right, zoom in on the faces. Just zoom in on the faces. I want you to see. Now, notice you see the facial hair on the brother. Guess who they say that is too? St. Maurice. It's St. Maurice again. And this is when we began to let the white man into our military. And it began to systematically overpower us and take us down. Okay, but look how dark this brother is. Look how dark he is with his beard and mustache and his hair like wool.
Blue black.
Blue black with shiny armor. This is unheard of. A nigga wearing armor. This is why they call them knights. Because, see the face, brother. Give me the face. Because he was dark as night. That's why they called them knights in shining armor. That's why. Wow. Let's get some more. Give me some more. Come on.
Yep.
Give me the next picture.
Knights at the wrong table, all of that. All black men.
Wow. Now look at this. Look at this. Give me the number at the bottom. Under the one on the left, there's a number under the page. What is that? 148 and 149. Let's see who these two are. Go down to the bottom. I want to. 148. Guess who it is? St. Maurice again. Left wing of the altar, page 1592. 149. Wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. I thought it was a different guy, but it says Nicholas Glockens, whatever. Then it says St. Maurice and his companions. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. Okay. Notice the black man. Now look at his armor on my left. He got gold. He got rubies. And look at this. Look at this. Do y'all see this? See, this is unheard of for us to even dress like this. We had to have had wealth and fame and fortune to even dress. You know how much that would cost today?
And he go to war with that on. Huh?
Look at this sword with writing in it.
He got embroidery in the sword.
And look how black he is. Look at it. Look how black he is. Oh, God.
That's a broad sword. I mean, he was strong as hell to walk around with it. That's a huge sword.
The sword is up to his shoulder. That's a huge sword.
He was putting people to death with that thing.
You couldn't be no weakling swinging a sword like that either.
Got jewelry
Look at the
on.
brother over there. You saw the jewelry and armor.
Jewelry and all that.
Well, look at them devils in the back. Yeah, they were the
You
devil.
saw that, right? I was looking at that.
Hey, look at that cape he got. Look at that cape that he's wearing. That looks like bird feathers.
Yeah.
On top of that hat?
No, right there, I'm talking about his cape.
Yeah, and what's on top of that hat? What's on top of
Or a plume or something, big hat. Like in the Three Musketeers, they wear hats like that.
Right. Exactly.
Okay. Look at that, black. Give me the next picture now. Look at that. That's what we just looked at. But look at the jewelry in the armor.
The detail of the
in it.
garments.
Yes.
Of the
Jake
armor.
made that armor for him, too.
Oh, yeah.
Edomite making that armor for him.
Oh, yeah. We went out to war. Remember what it said in Maccabees? It said the young men.
Right.
Can you read that
That's
for us? You know where it is?
That's what it is
Ezekiel?
right there.
I can't remember where it is. First Maccabees 14, verse 9. Watch this. Let's see if it coincides with this.
The book of First Maccabees, chapter 14 and verse 9. The ancient men sat all in the streets, communing together of good things, and the young men put on glorious and warlike apparel.
Glorious and warlike apparel. That's what we're looking at as an example. Now, we know it's two different time periods, but I'm just showing you how we got down. Okay? We evolved, right? We did no grass skirts and all that. No. Oh, we had armor. We had capes. We had jewelry. We had diamonds and studs. Give me that Song of Solomon 111 about the studs. Y'all be thinking we making this stuff up.
The book of Song of Solomon, chapter 1 and verse 11. We will make thee borders of gold with studs of silver.
You see that? Borders of gold with studs of silver. That's how we got down. Look at this. Give me the next picture. Look at this. See, this is when they began to conquer us. And they got Spain, they got Rome, and they set themselves up as Pope, the white man did. Okay? This is what we're seeing here in this painting. So these paintings give you some truth. Now look at the brother behind him. Do y'all see behind the guy in the front? But I thought there was only St. Maurice in these things. But I see a black man back there wearing armor too. He got armor on. Okay. Give me the next picture. Jenner von Olamundi. 3 companions of St. Maurice. 3 friends. Let's go back to the painting now. 3 of his friends. Black. But I thought it was only St. Maurice.
Everybody's supposed to be St. Maurice.
I thought it was only St.
They
Maurice.
couldn't do it here, but it's 3 of them.
Right. So that's 4 different people. So 3, remember the guy standing behind him.
Exactly.
So there's more black people. I'm showing you because a Negro will get deceived when it says all these black people. St.
Exactly,
Maurice, St. Maurice,
exactly.
St. Maurice. No, they're all not St. Maurice. Oh, that's a wooden canvas? Yeah, right. Notice they're wearing armor, this guy here. Okay? They got knives in their hands, some of them. Jewelry around their neck, jewelry in the ear. This is during the Middle Ages. Black men. Okay?
What y'all have to realize is that for the scholars to try to deceive you with certain writings in the books, talking about they all St. Maurice and his darkened flesh tones give him an almost Negroid cast and he becomes black.
Right.
Words like that. If they're going through that kind of work, putting that much dedication to deceive you, what does that tell you about what facts can do? Because if they'll go through these links, that means you knowing this will cause havoc among them.
Exactly.
If they're going to go through this kind of trouble to blind you from these things, to blind you from the Bible, they must recognize what this Bible is really going to do for you. That's why they hate us so much.
There you go.
They're the real hate group.
Exactly. Let's go to the next picture. Okay. Let's see the number. Let's see that. Let's zoom in on the number under the one on the left. 156. Look, 156 and 157. Let's see what it says. 156 says, Statue of St. Maurice again. From the facade of the town hall in Jutterburg, year 1508. 157 says, St. Maurice and his companions, upper half of the right wing of whatever that word is, from the chapel at Gross, whatever that word is, Whitfeetstink, I don't know the language, yeah, 1520, Lunenburg Museum. Let's look at them now. Do y'all see this? Now let's count how many black people on the one on the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now look in the back. Look in the back. Right there. Zoom in right there. I thought everybody was St. Maurice. More black men on horseback. Who that nigga on the nag? Look at it. Black men wearing armor and capes. On the armor. You see how we used to get down? I see the face that was on the thing, yes. Look how glorious we dress with chainmail armor and capes and jewelry. He got the, what is the thing, the helmet that the knights wore on my left right there? That's the battle garment right there. And that's a statue. It's not even a painting, so somebody can, look at the lips, look at the nose. You can see it's a Negro man, a black man. You can't deny that.
Can't deny none of that.
Okay, look at that. But then they say, oh, the Christian apologetics, you made that up. Oh, Jesus help me, they made this up.
Right.
Oh, we didn't make nothing up. Your scholars put this stuff together. And again, we thank them so much and so dearly. Look at this.
Bishop, that phenomenon occurred. That's what happened.
Oh, yes. Like Willie went into, unless a phenomenon occurs. Was there more? Okay, the book is finished? That's Image of the Black in Western Art. Now give me the last book, Before the Mayflower. Watch this. You can X out all the stuff, right? Now this is my book. It's dirty, it's old, I'm sorry. I took a picture of my book. Before the Mayflower, A History of Black America, written or put together by Lerone Bennett Jr. Now, when I got this book back in 1991, that's why it looked like that. It went through hell. Now, go inside the book. How many pages did I send? And okay, can we read this, Ezekiel?
Before the Mayflower, there were skilled farmers and artisans among the first group of African Americans. And there were indications in the record that they were responsible for various innovations later credited to English immigrants.
The great things we did was giving credit. They gave credit to the white man. Go ahead, down.
There is furthermore testimony of Washington Irving, who made the following observation in the contemporary satirical skit. These, quote, these Negroes, like the monks of the Dark Ages, engross all the knowledge of the place, and being infinitely more adventurous and more knowing than their masters.
Wait a minute. They're saying the slaves were smarter than the white man. And it said they were like the monks of the Dark Ages. Wow. Go ahead.
Carry on all the foreign trade, making frequent voyages in canoes loaded with oysters, buttermilk, and cabbages. They are great astrologers, predicting the different changes of weather almost as accurately as an almanac. A large proportion of the first generation of African Americans entered America with Spanish names.
What, now watch this. The first African Americans entered America with Spanish names. Watch the next sentence.
For reasons that are not readily apparent.
You know why? Because we ruled Spain, and a lot of these historians have not come to the realization that we ruled all of Europe for 1,000 years.
Not readily apparent, meaning that we're hiding it from you. That's what apparently meaning that make it known. Not readily apparent meaning that they ain't bringing that information all the way out.
Right. The only one that came close with that understanding was J.A. Rogers. Because he was the one that was figuring out that blacks was ruling. Yep. Ivan Van Sertima touched on it a little bit, and there was somebody else whose name I forgot. This brother was kind of, read this part again.
For reason, a A large proportion of the first generation of African Americans entered America with Spanish names.
I thought they got us all from Africa. Go ahead.
For reasons that are not readily apparent. Many black males were called Antonio, a name that quickly became Antony or Anthony. Other popular names of the period included Michaela, Cochicello, Mingo, Pedro, Francisco, Hibina, Maria, Wartello, Tomora, Angola, and Tony Congo. Shortly after their arrival in America, many blacks were discarded African and Spanish names and adopted English titles.
They changed it. Go ahead.
By 1649, colonial officials were able to report that, quote, there were Virginia about 15,000 English, and Negroes brought thither 300 good servants.
Give me the next page. Right there.
The, quote, good servants came from different backgrounds with different experiences. Quite a few, as we have noted, came from England.
Came from where?
Came from England.
I thought we all came from Africa. Go ahead.
Where blacks had lived since the middle of the 16th century.
Oh, we lived there way before that, but that's what he put down. Go ahead.
Many came from Spain.
Many blacks came from where?
From Spain.
From Spain. Go ahead.
Portugal. And the West Indies.
Go ahead.
Significantly, many were Christians.
Go ahead. That's what we were showing y'all.
Anthony Johnson. In the years that followed, Johnson and his relatives established one of America's first black communities on the banks of the Pungoteague River. In 1652, John Johnson, who was probably Anthony Johnson's son, imported 11 persons, most of them white males and females, and received head rights for 550 acres adjacent to Anthony Johnson. 2 years later, Richard Johnson imported 2 white indentured servants and received 100 acres. Here are the records of the deeds.
So they had white indentured servants. So what I've been showing y'all, now go back to Revelation, please. You have to go back there. So what we've been showing you is this, our history in a nutshell. Okay, give me that. Revelation 11:7 again.
The book of Revelation, chapter 11 and verse 7. And when they have finished their testimony, the beast that ascended out of the bottomless pit shall make war against them and shall overcome them and kill them.
That's what happened. At the end of the Dark Ages, the Renaissance ushered in. The white man rose out of the bottomless pit, which was Europe, and they overcame us, they conquered us, and they enslaved us. Read.
Verse 8. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified.
Read.
And they of the people and kindreds and tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half, and shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves. And they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them and make merry, and shall send gifts one to another, because these 2 prophets tormented them that dwelt on the earth.
So all their holidays that the white man set up was in honor. If you ever look at their holidays, they're all white supremacist holidays, which many of them have to do with our downfall. We didn't realize Christmas had anything to do with it, but that's how they used it. And that's why they gave gifts one to another. And we went over that in another class. I forgot the name of the class. The history of Christmas. Okay, read on.
Verse 11. And after 3 days and a half.
350 years. See, it ain't over. The party ain't over. Go ahead.
The spirit of life from God entered in unto them.
That's what we're seeing right now. This is the spirit of life from God entering into us. Go ahead.
And they stood upon their feet.
We stood up upon our feet, not as Africans, but as Israelites. That's what this is doing for us. That's what the word of God is about. Read.
And great fear fell upon them which saw them.
That's what they call it. Oh, they're a hate group. They're racist. It's fear. That's fear, because we're awakening now. We're waking up to the truth that we're Israelites. We're waking up to the truth we ruled Europe for 1,000 years. We're waking up to the truth that we were in Africa for 1,000 years. We're waking up. Go ahead.
Verse 12. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, Come up hither, And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them.
And they're what?
And their enemies beheld
When this
them.
destruction hits, that's what it's talking about. Our enemies are going to see us taken up into the chariots of God. Read.
Verse 13. And the same hour
The same hour as we're being caught up. The same time. Go ahead.
was there a great earthquake, and the 10th part of the city fell. And in the earthquake were slain of men 7,000. And the remnant.
Notice it's calling the two witnesses, the two prophets, they're calling them here the remnant. Go ahead.
And the remnant were affrighted and gave glory to the God of heaven.
Y'all stop. What are you going to say?
Right. That goes into Psalms 91 as well. When we was taken up and it said 10,000 shall fall at thy side and another 1,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. That's the precept that goes with that. He said, only with thine eyes shall thou behold and see the reward of the wicked. That's some thousands that's dying in that verse there.
Exactly. All praises. From there, give me Revelation 21. And I want verse 12.
The book of Revelation.
Start at 10.
Chapter 21 and verse 10. And he carried me away in the spirit to a great and high mountain and showed me that great city, the holy Jerusalem, descending out of heaven from God. Having the great glory of God.
Having the glory of God.
Having the glory of God. And her light was like unto a stone most precious, even like a jasper stone, clear as crystal.
Read.
And had a great wall.
No, and had a wall great.
And had a wall great and high, and had 12 gates, and at the gates 12 angels, and the names written thereon, which are the names of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel.
That's what we just saw in the picture from Spain. Right. Go ahead.
And on east 3 gates.
On the east 3 gates.
On the north 3 gates. On the south 3 gates, and on the west 3 gates.
Read.
And the wall of the city had 12 foundations, and in them the names of the 12 apostles of the Lamb.
So now people always wonder, well, how do you enter into this gate? Go to chapter 22 and go to verse 14.
Revelation 22 and verse 14. Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life.
Which is immortality. Go ahead.
And may enter in through the gates into the city.
Notice verse 14 again. Blessed are they that do his commandments. Not think about, but do his commandments. Go ahead.
That they may have right to the tree of life, and may enter in through the gates into the city.
But what about the people that don't do the commandments? Read.
For without are dogs, and sorcerers, and whoremongers, and murderers, and idolaters, and whosoever loveth and maketh a lie.
Y'all see that? Now look at this. Give me go back to chapter 21 and start at verse 23.
Revelation chapter 21 and verse 23. And the city had no need of the sun, neither of the moon to shine in it, for the glory of God did lighten it, and the Lamb is the light thereof.
Now that does not mean there's not going to be no sun and moon. Give me the precept. Hold that. Coming right back here. Give me the precept in Isaiah. It might be 32. I'm shooting from the hip. I can't remember. 30:26? Is you sure? Okay, Isaiah 30:26. Let me hear it.
The book of Isaiah chapter 30 and verse 26.
Let's hear.
Moreover, the light of the moon.
Oh, you cooking with gas, brother. Read that again.
Moreover, the light of the moon shall be as the light of the sun.
So what we see today, the moon is dim, the sun is dim, but in the kingdom to come, it says the light of the moon shall be like the light of the sun. Read.
And the light of the sun shall be sevenfold.
And the light of the sun shall be 7 times brighter than what we see today. Go ahead.
As the light of 7 days, in the day that the Lord bindeth up the breach of his people.
That's the proof. Meaning when the 12 tribes are gathered back together again. That's when that's going to happen. This whole thing is spiritual. The connection that God has with us. The moon is darkened. The sun is darkened. But when we are brought back to our 12 tribes again, that's when he's going to turn that sun up, turn the moon up the way it's supposed to be. The earth going to rejoice when we come back together. Go back to Revelation 21.
Revelation chapter 21 and verse
23.
And the city had no need of the sun, neither of the moon to shine in it.
Why?
For the glory of God did lighten it, and the Lamb is the light thereof.
So in New Jerusalem, we're not going to need the actual sun and moon because the Lord's going to be there. And remember it said there was, use the word in Revelation 1:14. It said there was, it didn't say halo. It said, no, from his face.
That's in Daniel. The appearance of lightning? No.
Does it say the appearance of lightning? Let me look at it. Let me look.
That's in Daniel.
Is it in Daniel? Y'all know I'm taking a guess. Let me just look at something. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, in Daniel, where it says in his face was the appearance of lightning, meaning there was such a glow emanating from him. Like when Moses came down from the mountain, y'all remember that? It said we had to put a sheet over his face because he had a glow. So now when we go back to Revelation 21 about New Jerusalem, read again where you left off.
Revelation chapter 21, verse 23. And the city had no need of the sun, neither of the moon shine in it. For the glory of God did lighten it, and the Lamb is the light thereof.
Read.
And the nations of them which are saved shall walk in the light of it. And the kings of the earth do bring their glory and honor unto
The
it.
nations and the kings, when it says bring their glory, they ain't coming up in that. The things is going to be brought to the 144. I'm going to prove everything I'm saying right now. Read.
Verse 25. And the gates of it shall not be shut at all by day.
And so when it says the nations of them which are saved, that's talking about Israel. Okay, saved. I'm going to show you what's going to happen with the nations. Go ahead.
For there shall be no night there, and they shall bring the glory and honor of the nations into it.
Now the precept for that is Isaiah 60, verse 10. Let's start there. Here's the verification. Here's the proof.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 60 and verse 10. And the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy on thee.
See, Christians don't like this part. And the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto. That's called slavery. That's what that's called.
Exactly.
Read on.
For in my wrath I smote thee.
In his wrath, he sent us into slavery.
But
God was angry with us, and he made us slaves on the earth. Read.
But in my favor have I had mercy on thee.
That's us waking up after 3 days and a half and standing upon our feet. Why? Because of Christ sacrificing himself for us. Because of what Christ did, we have opportunity to return. Read.
Verse 11. Therefore thy gates shall be open continually.
This is what we read in Revelation 21, verse 25. Therefore thy gates shall be open continually. Go ahead.
They shall not be shut day nor night.
Why?
That men may bring unto thee.
That men may bring unto thee. Bring unto the Israelites. Go ahead.
Forces of the Gentiles.
The wealth of the nations. Go ahead.
And that their kings may be brought.
And that their kings may be brought. Go ahead.
For the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish. Yea, those nations shall be utterly wasted.
So everybody talking, people stressed out about Wakanda. It's fictional. We ain't worried about that because Mount Zion, that's what we're reading about. New Jerusalem, we going to have that isolated kingdom. And all nations going to come and serve and bow before the children of Israel.
They must bow. You know what's beautiful about that? Because you know you're going to get some resistance. They're not going to want to bow. That's the beautiful part about it, is to make them bend. Huh? That's going to be beautiful.
See, in their arrogance,
Right. I like that.
their arrogance, they not only did they pass laws so that we couldn't read or write.
Right.
They said, listen, they're all ignorant now. We could teach them. We don't even got to change their book, the Bible. We could teach them their book the way we want it.
God did that.
Right. God did that thing. That's why I said the pride of thine heart hath deceived thee.
He said, leave it the way it is. They ain't going to wake up.
Then they said, you know what? All these artifacts they got all throughout Europe, it's a whole lot. We can't destroy all of it. Let's put it together in books. They ain't going to read this stuff. They're not going to seek out things for the Middle Ages or Jewish antiquities. They're going to focus on Afro-American history. They're going to go over there.
Right.
Egypt and all that, Kemet, that's where they're going to go.
And they figured that they got that covered too. They said, and if they do come up, we're going to blackball them in the media. We're going to do this. We're going to put all kind of stuff together to try to malign them. put them on SPLC, do all these kind. They said they got all that. The Most High gonna break through all that garbage.
Exactly.
And still gonna get the Israelites taught.
There you
Ain't
go.
nothing you could do on this earth but follow. That's it.
What verse you at?
I'm at verse 11.
Read.
Therefore thy gates shall be open continually. They shall not be shut day nor night, that men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles, and that their kings may be brought.
Come on.
For the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish. Yea, those nations shall be utterly wasted.
Oh, that's music to my ears. Read on.
Verse-
Gonna be saved, Bishop?
They know they ain't gonna be
So they
saved.
ain't gonna be saved?
They ain't gonna be saved. Read.
Verse 13. The glory of Lebanon shall come unto thee, the fir tree, the pine tree, and the box together, to beautify the place of my sanctuary.
You know what they're saying? We're going to command the nations. Bring all these trees here. Bring them up to Jerusalem. Y'all gonna build them walls. That's what's going on. That's what this is saying.
Y'all don't realize how glorious that is. You're going to command all of this. You're going to bring in the pine tree. You're going to bring in the fir trees, and you're going to build. And if you choose not to build, you will be utterly wasted. But with spiritual power, we can waste you and raise you back up, put you back out to work.
Exactly. We make your arms drop off and shrivel up.
Man, put them back on, go back to work.
Read on.
And I will make the place of my feet glorious.
See that? And I will make the place of my feet glorious. So the foundation of all that the nations are going to build. Go ahead.
Verse 14. The sons also of them that afflicted thee shall come bending unto thee.
I want you Christian apologetics out there to listen good. Y'all going to come bending unto the Israelites. You can mock, you can scoff all you want, but the prophecy says you going to come bending unto us.
And Bishop, we say apologetics on purpose.
Yeah, exactly. I'll mess your name up on purpose. I don't care.
Not no apologists, apologetics.
Exactly. Read that again.
The sons also of them that afflicted thee.
But they have afflicted us. They've afflicted us physically, spiritually, and mentally in this kingdom. Go ahead.
Shall come bending unto thee, and all they that despise thee
And
shall.
because Christianity, I'm going to tell you, Christianity is racism. Christianity is a racist religion in all its facets, whether it's Roman Catholic, Jehovah's Witness, Seventh-day Adventist. Anytime they put up a white image for Jesus, that's called racist because they hate the black description of Jesus in the Bible. That's racism.
There you go. White supremacy.
White supremacy. That's just for one thing we point out. Read on.
And
then we ain't going to argue with you about Galatians. We could tell you, but guess what? Until you can prove Jesus is white, God is white, the Israelites are white in the Bible, don't talk to us. Don't do your videos. We don't care what you think, what you say. Why won't you debate us? Because you're nothing. You don't have a leg to stand on. I want y'all to understand that.
Hey, why don't they just make a forum and just debate Obadiah?
Exactly.
Just debate that. Get in the forum and debate Obadiah. Debate the book of Obadiah.
Exactly.
For those verses. Just deal with that. We got work to do.
Read on.
The sons also of them that afflicted thee shall come bending unto thee, and all they that despise thee shall bow themselves at the soles of thy feet. And they shall call thee the city of the Lord, the Zion of the Holy One of Israel.
The Zion of the whole. You stress out about Wakanda. You better stress out about Zion. That's what you better stress out
The
about.
Most High is honor. This is all honor. Those last few lines in that verse. Read them last few lines again.
And all they that despise thee shall bow themselves down at the soles.
All the people that hated us, called us nigger, called us spit, wetback. The Most High said, what? Read it again. And all they
that despise thee,
all they that spoke against us,
shall bow themselves.
we're going to make them same devils bow.
There you go.
That's some honor.
That's honor.
Here you've been cursed out. That's like the victim getting revenge on the enemy.
There you go.
That's like the person that was raped getting ready to tear her rapist to pieces. That's what it's talking about. Read it again.
And all they that despise thee shall bow themselves down at the soles of thy feet.
That's what you call therapy.
Right.
That's instant therapy. That's
Justice.
That's
Right.
justice.
I like that.
That will fix your brain up. With all of the way they maligned us, cursed us out, spoke evil against us. When you get medicine like that, that clears up all that craziness.
And you know
that
what
restores your soul.
You know what their tactic is when we read this? They'll say, "Oh, that's racist."
Nah.
Well, I think that's what. Then that proves God is a racist.
Absolutely. I ain't done with him. I'm almost done. Finish reading that. I'm going to show you about the honor. I want to talk about the honor for just a second, Bishop. Just the honor. Read that last statement again.
And all they that despise thee shall bow themselves down at the soles of thy feet, and they shall call thee the city of the Lord.
So not only are they going to bow, they're going to call us the city of God. Good. That's what you call honor. That goes with Psalms 149, the bottom part of it, where it says, after we put our enemies in chains, it said, this honor have all his saints.
You know what's heavy about that? They're going to call us the city of God.
They're going to call us.
See, they made mockery of our people in Brazil, calling that the city of God. Oh, you're going to see, they are going to be transformed to the real city of God. You watch.
Y'all got to understand that the Most High, he's got the therapy program for us. That's going to fix us up right on, right on. That's
so I pray you brothers and sisters glean something from today's class. Did you? Yes, did you understand it? Yes, did you enjoy it? Yes, all praises to the Most High. Shalom. This is Bishop Nathaniel of Israel United in Christ. Please subscribe to our YouTube channels. Stay up to date with our latest events, music, and classroom lessons. IUIC plans to continue visiting different countries where this gospel has not been preached before. IUIC needs your help in pushing this truth. So join us. Subscribe to our Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and podcast, and stay up to date with us. For more information, please visit www.israelunite.org.